camera's a little close though. All right. Peace, 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 everyone.
Blessed love, family.
Yeah, so just gonna give it a couple of minutes, for everybody to trickle in. Of course, as you come in, just let us know if you can hear us. And also as a sound check, let me know if the music is too loud. I'll turn it down. All right, there we go. Shalom. Alma Precious. My name is Precious. I can't do it like Brother Lowe. All right, cool. Is the music too loud? Alma Precious. Just wait for your response.
Probably got a slight delay.
Yeah.
And the neighbor's Wi-Fi slows everything down.
Yeah,
Jags it back.
Yeah, they do it dirty in the Bahamas. It can be a tad lower. Okay, cool. All right. Let me know if that is okay. And I'm going to wait for everyone else to trickle in. Give it 1 or 2 minutes before we start. All right, so guess we could do the introduction.
Frank off.
All right, so this is the first video in a string of videos that we're going to be doing, which we're going to be doing some readings from the Anu Way, which I think it should cover. Probably won't show up on my laptop camera anyway, so forgive me. But the Anu Way.
Foundations.
Peace, Amakuya. So my name is Brother Antonio. This is my cousin, Abba Cruz.
Blessed love, family. Blessed love.
Yeah, so we're going to, peace, Gloria. We're going to be doing a couple of readings from a few sections in the Anu Way. And then we're just going to discuss how it's affected us and how we apply them and, the changes that we've seen as a result of that application. So,
Yes, family. Just to reiterate, this is us reading. This is not going to be a teaching session by any means. It's going to be us having a dialogue with the impact that the foundations that we're cutting for ourselves given to us by the great Baba Chief Yuya. And not just this work, but the other works that we've been exposed to, how they have actually allowed us to not just have self-development, but also community development, which is one of the most important things. So we will cite some other annual publications, and not just this particular segment that we'll be doing now, but also when some of the sisters who you'll be privileged to meet very soon will also be doing.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, you can bring it in a little bit. Yeah, so I'm going to be reading from basically the first page, preface, and after that, Abba Cruz will be following closely after with who are the Anu, that section. All right, so it's been 3 minutes, so we can begin. So I'll start. Preface. This book is not to be read only once. The words in this volume are delicately selected and implanted as a code to unlock the treasured faculty of your own brain and affirm you with the undeniable spirit of reformation and mercy. Read the words of this book of knowledge and wisdom out loud. As you apprehend what is departing from your mouth, you will organize your environment and body aura with the property of this dedicated text. Understanding is an earned perception. You may read a section of this tome and it may not penetrate today. Apprenticeship is for you to reflect on with humility. Discuss the convictions of this work with your Anu brothers and sisters. Share this information with your people. Your grasp of wisdom will not develop in emptiness. When you study this book, you will become enlightened of the ways of Anu, but you must work for your own circumspection by applying what you are being instructed to do. It is only then that wisdom will be yours to stand on with a grip of discernment. This publication should be read daily. Listen to each line and examine it. Every line of this book can be taken out of context and studied on the strength of its own potential. The truth is to be deliberated, and this manuscript provides exactitude that will one day become your standard of natural sense. Okay, so that was the preface.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
okay, everybody's trickling in. Peace, Sister Kashil. Peace, Abamari. Peace, Chief.
That's okay, family. Now we're going to get further into the text. The Anu. Who are the Anu? Text is as read for those who are following on. Can you imagine a celestial ember of archetypical animus remaining unadulterated through the ages in select individuals? That entwined flame would be a continual thread that oscillates at the highest frequency the divine measure conceptualizes for earthlings. I am describing the seed characteristics of the divinely endowed people known as the Anu. The Anu are highly evolved people who have been noted and modeled amongst an aggregation of world nations and cultures. We, Anu, have been associated with ancient Kemetic priesthood, the Twa, Ethiopians, Efe, Aka, Bongo, Congo, Ishongo, Nupe, Yoruba, Ido, Israelite, Bambara, Sumerians, Assyrians, Babylonians, Akkadians, and more. Former priesthoods carried the name Anu or variations of it, but these priesthoods were not as you or I may picture clergy today. These were classical mystical orders that upheld the great value of archaic wisdom and aspirations. Many people are disturbed by the idea of secret societies. Individuals who choose to interface in private and cultivate an agenda that works best for themselves and their kin are generally considered to be most nefarious. The truth is, certain information is just not decipherable or conceivable to all people. For example, if a room of quantum physicists conference with one another and discuss the deeper thought of their chosen vocation, it would not be unfair if one who is not versed in that technical verbiage were unable to comprehend what they are saying. Even after great explanation, there are some individuals who still do not comprehend the matrix of quantum physics. In a group activity, even one as common as speaking, the kinetic vibration of the enterprise always falls to the denominator achievable by all. Using our previously mentioned example, the group of quantum physicists would not be able to experience the best form of their exchange while the individual in the room who lacks the ability to cognize and match frequency with the rest of them is present. That one individual will decrease the energetic and subjective vibration of the exercise. In a fractal depiction, all forces on the planet will always emulate if left to their most ascended wavelength. There is invariability hidden, unseen, as there is spirit and body. There are conversations that only your God can assimilate and unequivocal experiences that only man can fathom. Our concept of Anu maintains that this way of life is not for everyone. Most humans are attracted to light and warmth of life changing culture, but only a preferred few will be able to discern and live out Anu genius in order.
All right, give thanks.
That's
Give thanks. So those were the two sections that we had chosen to read. I chosen the preface. Well, we both chosen these sections because they're at the very beginning, and since this is the first in the series of readings, we saw fit to choose these segments. Um, the preface was also something that really resonated with me the most because it's like a condensed form of the whole book, and it warns you right off the bat that this isn't something that you can just skim and say that you get it. Like it's something that you can read over and over, and as you grow through applying it, at least this is my experience. As I've grown through applying it, I begin to see more. You know, it's sort of like a relationship that you would form with the text, just like the relationship that you would form with agriculture and your brothers and sisters. What did you see in the preface or in the segment that you read that stood out to you?
well, certainly starting with the preface, one of the things that definitely I'm strengthening is the reading the text out loud. And my first time going over the text, I did read it aloud, just as well as on the second time, there were some areas, in this case, the preface that I read in mind. And the two processes were completely different. When you read it aloud, especially us having a dialogue on numerous occasions, um, it was able to actually awaken and you can actually feel the text broadening your mindset towards the literature that you're actually reading. And one key line that actually stood out to me, which I've mentioned to you before, is apprenticeship is for you to reflect on with humility. And humility in this case, we were taught by Chief Yuya to ground ourselves in knowledge and take a full appraisal of where we actually are. And through that development, that part there grounded me, continually, and it still does, and it still does.
Right.
And then moving into who the Anu are, this actually, again, very grounding experience, just knowing that the divine creator is alive inside of me. You go into many circles where people will give you the information that, oh yeah, you are God or you are gods, but how do you actually know that? In this case now, the application of the physical work, being disciplined and obedient to the laws that are given to us, is actually where that knowing comes from.
Yeah, it reminds me of that eshe aspect of Yoko, where you have your feet trotting the earth, and as you continue to walk, you you begin to experience life, and it's a very different thing from you know imagining what your life could be, but not doing anything. And it's almost similar to what you were speaking about earlier about reading it in your mind versus speaking it. Letting these words leave your lips. Like how we say in the Bahamas, like how you could fix your mouth to say that to me. Like you have to fix your mouth to form the words, and even that there's like a process, as smooth or um or as rough as that could be. It's still a process, and your mind experiences different things as you go through doing it. One of the things that stood out to me in the preface was were two things. I always like they always ping back and forth is the line that says understanding is an earned perception, and your grasp of wisdom will not develop in emptiness. Like those two, I would always go back and forth between them because it reminds me of the charge to actually live the culture, not just study it or learn about it or think about it. And that in itself is powerful.
True.
Yeah. Oh, we had two more people join. Peace, Niall. Peace, James Garabaki. Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Now, one of the things I definitely wanted to highlight in the aspect, the area of the text that I read, is drawing attention to the last paragraph. It says, in a fractal depiction, all forces on the planet will always emulate if left to their most ascended wavelength. And on that note, what I would like to do is cite the 14 keys. This was released by Chief prior to us actually getting access to the foundations. And I would like to actually go to the last paragraph of Imani, which I think in this case is very aligned. And Imani, to believe with all our heart in our people, our parents, our teachers, our leaders, and the righteousness and victory of our struggle. Last paragraph. True faith cannot be generated, but rather is received as knowledge is. Individuals are drawn into a faith as male and female are attracted into a coupling. Faith extends beyond intellectual and sensory processing. In our Imani faith, we know we are the creator that claims what will be. When we put faith in the members of our communities, they become the collective higher realm's vision. For faith to work in a group, there must be a liberal amount of high vibrational bonding and spiritual communing amongst members. Faith grows in ourselves and communities as we proceed to carry out the orders of our soul mission. The group itself also has a soul mission. At times, we will think our talents are insufficient to carry out the work of the mission. But if we have faith that we are purposely called and planned and planted inside our given communities, then that grasping will show us the divine vision of ourselves and each other as conquerors. Jointly, we overcome doubt, fear, obstacles, ego, and inadequacy. Investments in faith equip us with the task. So, the whole process of building for me, and it ties into what we were dialoguing, but those specific lines that really drew out to us is actually humbling ourselves to the process of the foundations of the Anu way, respecting and appreciating the fact that Chief has gone through various schools of thought, and knowing that the Elohim has actually grounded him with knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and overstanding to actually give to us as those who are actually humbling ourselves to the process. So, off of that, I also just want to encourage everybody to actually look at some of the other texts that Chief has written. And on a level of encouragement, there's a particular text that we as a family of Anu actually just finished doing a workshop on, which is the solutions for dysfunctional family relationships. And one line in that speaks all. If you do not choose a culture, one will be chosen for you. And the Anuway foundations will help us to actually dissolve that and get into the ethnicity of what true cultural bonding actually is in the groundation of the great creator Yah.
Yeah, man. Man, give thanks for that. One of the things that you touched on was yes, Chief has gone through various schools of thought, but the application of what he's actually learned, he shared some of those experiences with us, are what has really helped to shape his thought and the way he understands, how these things move. If he would just going off of theory, it would have been, I knew would have been a different experience. You know what I mean? And I think the same could be said for all of us. Like we've all gone through our various levels and our various aspects of application. And I think in truth, uh, one of the 14 keys, it speaks to the reverberation that happens when you speak the truth. So um, you would say something, and it's not like hearing an echo, but it's like a response. You say something out loud, and life would come to you with what you just spoke. Like it would come at you with the same vibration of what you just spoke, and you've got to be ready to accept that reverberation. So if you say, I'm gonna be the best fighter in the world, and then you go out somewhere, you might, I don't know, go to the food store, and someone rear ends your car, and now you might be in a fight with them, and you gotta prove like you want to be a fighter or not. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
life is gonna test you based off of what you proclaim or what you profess.
Yes, yes. One of the beauties about the Anuway Foundation, it actually covers every aspect of life. Every aspect of life. For instance, right now, this is our Sabbath, sundown. And one of the beauties about this is we as Anu are encouraged to actually come together and commune and discuss Anu thought and calculations to discuss the building process of our communities within the tenets of Anu. So off of this, I'll definitely encourage everyone to continue to read, to continue to apply. And every Sabbath, we'll be actually going through the text as a family. If not myself and Brother Antonio, a couple of the sisters, and a few other of our family members from Anu. And we give thanks for this process, allowing us to actually come into your spaces and bring this delivery to you as we have seen and calculate within our lives.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Sure. Sure. Is there anything else that stood out? Oh, another thing that stood out to me, who was very key, was the example of the quantum physicist, because we've definitely experienced this with when we're speaking about the Anu way or Anu philosophy amongst each other, as opposed to speaking of it among people who aren't necessarily part of Anu, and the vibration is different. Like it's like someone who missed the show. Like we might know the show in and out, but the person might not understand. Okay, like why was that event important? Like they don't understand the character development and all that. You got to explain all of that, and then you gotta um, you gotta trust that either they're gonna get it or they're not. And that's the thing that that's one of the things that gets me humbled in a way, because can I explain this to someone who isn't familiar with it? Like it's easy to preach to the choir, you know what I mean? It's easy to preach to the converted, but um, how easy is it to speak to someone about a show that hasn't seen the show?
True.
Yeah,
True.
just to use that example.
Yes, yes. There's a lot of information that comes in, but application of the information and balancing with it is actually what translates it or transforms it rather to knowledge. And in Anu, we're encouraged until the day that we decide to transition from this space to continually evolve our knowledge level, our knowledge base, because we have a responsibility to everyone who comes behind us. Anu is a ministry of service, but we are not servants. So in this process, we continually build. And I just want to just tag a little something on, which will give you a little view of what's to come in some of the other readings. And this is off of the area of what we serve. And just something to inspire those who would have come through different formats, because everyone came into this space of knowing and exposure to Anu through different means. Myself came through practicing other traditions. And one of the areas that is mentioned in what we serve is, can you imagine hearing the name of Yah but not identifying as a Christian? Can you picture yourself submitting to the intention of the creator of the universe but not making an immediate mental and emotional connection to a current world religion? Does that mean we no longer acknowledge the presence of Orisha, ancestors, and natural spirits? No, it does not mean that. We are reverent to Islam. Does that mean we are single mindedly tethered to Arabic culture or the Quran? We plummet from grace when we exalt the giver over the gift of the gift, over the giver of the gift. So, off of that, family and friends, I will retreat to the space and start separating from the segment so that everyone could go into the rest of their Sabbath and build on whatever would have been discussed in this segment, just as well as anything else that you may have as your regular routine. And one thing I'll encourage everyone to do, if you haven't as yet, is Chief released a segment from a workshop that he did. It's titled "The 14 Keys." It's a very, very awesome segment, like all of them. I recommend that everyone sits down with pen and paper or pencil and paper and reaffirm the knowledge that's actually being given and study along with the 14 keys. And we'll see you again next Sabbath.
Yeah. Oh, Chief says, be the living model of what you are ingesting. Some people have short attention spans and others have trouble reading text. So the initial impression you provide may be all the Anu they ever see. It's true.
Powerful,
Yeah, man.
powerful.
Yeah, you ever had those experiences where you're explaining something to someone and like a minute into it, they're looking at their phone. Like, no, I'm still listening. I'm still listening. I'm with you. Yes.
I hear it.
Yeah. So they definitely got to see it. Like Chief would always say, it's got to be in you, not on you. So they've got to see it in the way that you move throughout your day.
Yes.
How do you move when you wake up? Like what's dripping off of your aura? Never mind what you say.
Yes. Yes. Another bit of encouragement to think about also towards the family is every single word in the text has been methodically selected by Chief. And, I've heard him use statements that are in some of his segments, just as well as some of the teachings amongst us family members. Until one day he actually started to dissect it even more when he used the term oscillates and celestial. It's powerful, family. So I would recommend that you definitely tune into the text more and more. Continue to read it. I'll encourage you to continually ingest it all and be living models of the way of the people from heaven, which is the translation of Anu.
Another thing that just came to me, uh, we're going to put in I don't know, maybe in the description where you can actually access this book or where you can find this book. Chief says, have any of you made note of the wave of grief that passed through the land last evening? Have you felt that death? Have you felt that death wave?
Very, very powerful. I actually had a brush with death last night, to be honest with you, on the crossroads. I work also a night job, and I thought I made it through because in our community here in the Bahamas, there have been a number of traffic fatalities from the set of the winter solstice on the 21st going through their Yuletide season to even this recognition of the New Year turnover. And if I was a second behind, man, this I heard the car brakes hit lock up behind me, and the gentleman just swiped straight across the front of me, tearing my bumper, and he ran straight into a wall, and it was a process. Certainly it made me reflect on a lot. It definitely made me reflect on a lot. And standing on the crossroads, I looked around and I took a breath in and I was like, yeah, Cruz, I knew was still here, yeah. So definitely definitely connected to that energy. And there's a lot of people who are not here, people who we have seen in our,
Yeah,
again, our small communities, who we now see in the papers.
yeah. We've had a number of them, like Abu Cruz said, we had a lot of them, even on the same night. Like a couple of people, swirl up the road, hit walls. But it's not just traffic fatalities. Like people have been a bit more sullen. I've noticed that because I work in a customer service aspect at my job, and people are a lot more subdued. Um, they have been moving throughout this winter season, and yeah, yeah, it's been around. A lot of people have that death on their minds. Anytime you talk to someone, they bring up the fact that there's been so many traffic fatalities in the past, what, 7, 10 days.
Yeah, yeah. And one of the other things that I kept keep in mind also, as you asked that question, Chief, is the transition of the months, where you mentioned that the timeline of December going into January is the death of an old mind and the birth of a new. And no pun when you think about the pronunciation anew and anu. So now adopting this way, continually awakening in this process, and leaving that old mind behind, and coming into a renewal of knowledge, wisdom, understanding of our new way, and a calculation and thought process and philosophy and application of 14 keys to nation building.
Yeah, yeah, sure. So that we're getting ready to close out. Are there?
Yeah, give thanks, Chief. Give thanks.
Oh yeah, like I said, we're gonna post the link to where you can find the text in the description below. We just want to say give thanks to everybody who was in the space. Um, Chief Abamari says, yes, Chief. I also experienced some love from old friends. Chief says, I'm glad that you were able to absorb the assay of the crossroads and not go through it, Brother Cruz. Many more long nights and dark days are ahead. The veil has been placed over the land. Chief also says in response to Abamari, those old friends, Baba Emmanuel, are probably resetting their watches to your pulse. You could have very well saved some physical lives. Powerful.
Powerful.
And,
Yes.
so, is there anything else that you wanted to say in closing?
Just want to encourage everyone to continually build, continually appraise yourself. Every day read the Anu way and affirm your fortitude in the ways of the divine creator. And understand that you must circumscribe yourself to the knowledge because you have come a certain path. And at the end of the day, community will sharpen you. Submit your application and go through the beauty of the orientation process.
Sure. Sure. I just wanted to reiterate that this reading this book isn't a one-off. Like, just continuously reiterating it. Um, no matter how many times you read it, it's going to affect you differently because you're coming into it with a different mind state. Really, all of the Anu texts that Chief has put forward, um, they're all going to affect you in different ways based on the mind state that you come in. And it's good to come in from that the heart chakra, where you're not really coming in with an agenda. You're just reading it for what it is and trying to understand it for what it is. Even even if you do come at that mind state, we're, we're, we're still dealing with a corrupted mind. So you're going to you're going to have different aspects of those texts penetrate at different times from different angles, the ones that you're most receptive to. But as you read them, as you understand them, you're going to become much more receptive, much more vulnerable, uh, less crusty, as Chief would say in the winter solstice video, which I'd actually encourage you to check out too, considering the season that we're in. But yeah, man, give thanks to you too, Alma Precious.
Yes. Glory, glory.
Yeah, man.
We give thanks, family. Give thanks for everything. Give thanks for the building. Give thanks for allowing us to come into your spaces. You all enjoy the Sabbath. Enjoy the process of building and the sacredness of this day that we choose to build and develop our connection with the
So, with that being said,
Creator.
peace to everyone. Ababari says, very interesting. You said that, Chief. One of the conversations was largely about a suicidal individual. Uh, Chief says, Shalom, brothers. Todah. The thirsty and hungry are being fed. Dua net. On my screen, it's horrible. Dua net here and ek. I think that's. Is that an L or an exclamation point? I don't know. Apologies, Chief.
Yes, yes. Family, give thanks, Chief, for the filling. Give thanks.
Oh,
Yes,
God.
yes.
Peace.
Glory.
Okay. I understand. It will end